The lesson.
Oh yeah.
All right, here we go. We got the man NOKZ all the way from Brisbane, man. How you doing?
What's up, bro? I'm good, man. I'm good. I appreciate you having us. Thanks for having me.
Nah, thanks for taking the time to jump on, man. We've been trying to get you on here for a little while, so thank you very much.
Yeah, bro. We've been busy. I appreciate it, man. Thanks for hanging tight, but yeah, it's good to be here. Good to be here.
Now, with all the stuff that's going on in rap in Australia at the moment, you're like one of the real buzzing new artists at the moment. So obviously you're originally from Brisbane.
Yeah.
Now you're from, is it Forest Lake in Brisbane?
Yeah, bro. Forest Lake, yeah.
Okay, so as someone from
Forest Lake,
South Australia who's never been to Brisbane, so I've got no idea about Forest Lake. How's that neighbourhood? Is it a affluent area? Is it a rough area? And how was it growing up over there?
It's actually a pretty nice area now. It was rough when we first moved in when I was young. The Southwest was a pretty run-down area back when we were young. But Forest Lake is actually, so Southwest is made up of three suburbs, and Forest Lake's like where the nice area. That's where all the nice girls live. Nah, that's where we. Yeah, my mum moved us into there from the slum. But yeah, it's pretty nice. It's pretty nice out there now. So yeah, it's come a long way.
And then, so I guess growing up there, like, how did the whole rap, hip hop, thing come about for you?
In Brisbane, a lot of people were making music when I was coming up. So my older brother was one. I'm with the MC, and yeah, just a lot of people were making music. That's really all it was. It was either you played rugby, or you made music in our area, or you were a criminal. But mainly, rugby or music. And yeah, so it was. I just fell into it and then just ran with it pretty much. That's pretty much how it started.
How old were you when you started, writing rhymes and penning shit?
I think I was 16. Oh, 17. Yeah, I was 17. So it was actually a youth worker came to the school. You know those youth programs where they come and they do music for the group? Shout out to Rez, his name is Rez. He's actually a pastor now, and he came to our school. And at that time, I was actually in a pretty I was a pretty naughty kid back then, and he took us all off the street and built a studio for everyone in the area, and that's where a lot of people started making music, and that's where it started for me. So shout out to everyone that does those programs. Those actually make a big difference in kids' lives. Like, people don't really understand how much those people do, but for us, it saved a lot of kids in our area, what Rez did. So shout out to Rez, and yeah, that's pretty much how it started, music-wise.
And then, so when you mentioned someone like that coming through the school and, taking you off the streets and shit. So when you were younger, you were getting into a bit of shit?
Yeah, I was I wasn't the NOKZ everyone knows me today, that's for sure. I was lost, I was lost as a kid, and just influenced by a lot of things, man, a lot of voices. We had a lot of different walks of life that came to in our area, you know what I mean? And it was all about choosing. It was hard to choose as a young person, but eventually we got there. Yeah. Thank God we didn't. We made the decisions we made back then, you know what I mean? So, yeah.
I'm guessing because when I listen to your music, there is a bit of the conversation of crews, gangs, beef, shit like that. Is that the sort of thing that was going on with you back in the day when you were younger?
Yeah, bro. We were heavy in it. But nothing to brag about. A lot of Islander kids from where we're from, they were all in gangs or on the street. It's nothing new, but. Yeah, I think it's just new to music, but a lot of boys were in gangs and on the street back then. It's just no one really made songs about it. Brisbane used to be the music of love. A lot of love songs, a lot of club songs. It was never, vibe songs, and the beef kind of songs. I think the streets is only new to the music here in Brisbane. The streets have always been here, but it's nothing new. You know what I mean? So yeah.
And then, so what is it that you think that for you kind of drew you to the street shit when you were younger?
I just went through a lot of shit, bro, as a lot of us do, and our culture is it's very different being being Islander, especially back then, because no one really talked about mental health and shit back then. There wasn't really any help. It was literally you're either really good at sport or you were on the street or your parents were in the church. For us, it was like I fell in none of those categories. So it was all about finding where we are. And honestly, like a lot of my mates, like I'm grateful to be here and I'm lucky to be here because a lot of my mates are in jail. A lot of my mates have passed away. A lot of my mates are deported. So for me, I'm just happy to be here and still be kind of living day to day. And the opportunities that come up, man, we're just grateful for it. You know what I mean? So we've come a long way from back then, that's for sure.
Yeah, wow. And then the whole thing where this dude's come into the school and then that's where you started to write rhymes and shit. So that's kind of the moment where your life began to change in a better direction?
Yeah, bro. I fell in love with music, straight up. I always sang. Like I was always a bit of a singer, but I never created my own music. But when we started doing that, it's just like, I don't know if you make music or anyone that kind of goes for the first time to a studio, it's so much fun. Like you want to keep doing it and doing it and doing it. And luckily for us, like we're actually pretty, like naturally we became good at it. Like after a bit of songs, like people started liking our songs and then that's how it kind of like, you want to keep making music when people love it, you know what I mean? So it's like, it was a good escape for us, bro, and it was a safe haven for all of us to go. We didn't have to be on the street, it was open all the time, you know what I mean? So yeah, pretty much it was, I would say.
What kind of music or what artists were you listening to, like at that point in time?
Oh, bro, we were just, I think it was just pretty much just diss tracks back then. That's what we were listening to, just battle, because I'm a big battle rap fan, bro. I'm an American battle rap. I love American battle rap. So we were always like, you love it? Yeah, 100%. Like bars wise, we'll always sit down and just try and write bars and try and steal a couple bars from the battles and don't tell anyone and everyone thinks you made it up. Like we were those guys. Just diss tracks all the time, just back then. And then a little bit of singing and stuff like that. But yeah, it was still very street-based music back then. Yeah.
And then you mentioned also that, like when you were getting into it, your brother actually is an artist as well, Amu the MC.
Yeah, shout out Amu. Yeah.
And then so, was he doing it around the same time that you started, or the other way around?
Nah. He's always been a rapper. So ever since we were young, that's literally all he ever wanted to be. Like I think we were like 13 and he was writing rhymes. You know what I mean? So for him, he was already making music. And yeah, I just kind of fell into it, followed his footsteps and stuff like that. But yeah, he's always been, if you know anything about the Brisbane scene, you know my brother, you know Amu. So shout out to Amu. Keep doing your thing, Polo. Yeah.
And then so how much of an influence do you think your brother rapping had on you starting to rap?
Oh, massive, bro. Massive. My brothers, I got two brothers, bro, and they're both my heroes, bro. So I look up to them in everything they do, not just music, not just anything, but yeah, it had a big influence on me, bro. Like, I think I just followed in his footsteps pretty much. That's pretty much how it went.
The lesson. 927. Oh yeah.